Welcome to Stories with Dice. This is the Dark Blue Sea, a Mutant Year Zero actual play podcast. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode.
Welcome back to another episode. Marco's just been, holding up suspicious fingers at me as we did the countdown. It's the usual. So it's going to be another fun-filled day.
Marco is a child.
That's why we're doing this. So I'll welcome Marco. Marco, hello.
Hello, I am Caspian, the navigator who's about to get his hand blown off.
Woo! That sounds like a good start. So we want plenty of ones to start with. We've got Chris.
Hello, I'll be playing Moss the Inventor.
Cool. We've got Douglas.
Hello, I'm playing Cochrane, who I think is just wandering around with the bad guys in quotation marks at the moment.
Cool. And Heath.
Hi, I'm Roach the Enforcer.
You're also following the bad guys. So where we left off last week was someone pulling the pin out of a hand grenade and throwing it. Right. Well, Caspian, let's get you started, shall we?
I have 5 base dice, I have 2 skill dice, and do I put 1 in for gear?
No, there's no gear.
The grenade is a gear.
Does it give you one gear in the grenade? I don't think it does.
It doesn't, but shouldn't it? It's a piece of gear.
No. This does not give you any special bonuses.
Really?
Yeah.
What about, if the scrap rifle?
No.
See, the scrap rifle gives me 1 gear die.
It does.
Yes.
But the grenade does not.
Well, I can understand that, though, because a rifle helps you shoot the bullet well. If you had a bullet, you wouldn't get a gear die for throwing a bullet.
Are you sure you don't want to play a Vulcan in our Star Trek game, Douglas? Okay.
That was my backup, but
here we go.
Let's see what you do.
Let's see how we do here. 1 grenade coming up.
Okay. So
that is 1 success and 1 bad symbol.
Did you want to push that? I mean, currently you're doing 9 damage to anyone in the radius.
The biohazard symbol, which is the bad symbol, if I push this, that gives me damage to what?
That'll give you damage to your leading stat, which is, I think, agility, is it?
Agility, yes. Okay. So it will re-roll everything but the one
success and the
success.
failure. Yeah.
I think I will.
Oh, plus, I mean, obviously, you will take 1 damage minimum, and you're also going to take 1 lot of mutation points. So it's a bonus.
I will do it.
Okay.
Sugar, honey, iced tea.
Oh,
that is a bad roll. So I have 3 biohazard symbols, which means I take.
Okay. Let's say 3 to your agility. Somehow you probably.
I imagine as I'm trying to toss this grenade, not only do I throw my shoulder out, but I stumble over something and fall, almost fall or fall on the deck.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you fall flat on the floor. And one of the,
that was a huge mistake.
Yeah. It kind of just rolls rather than being rolling in an arc. It just rolls on the floor and it spins. And you kind of wish everything goes into slow motion, that it doesn't stop spinning and doesn't stop rolling close to where you are. And it doesn't. It kind of lands just at the feet of Rhett. And she looks down and looks up at you. And there is this almighty ringing in your ears. The world suddenly goes very dark after a very bright flash. I guess I'll roll my armor for Rhett.
I got too greedy.
You basically roll it. It lands at her feet. There's a large explosion. And all you can hear is this woo ringing in your ears. There's smoke everywhere. You can't see anyone. She was with a couple of other people. They also have disappeared from view. There's just smoke. The rest of you hear this loud explosion, and then the ship just shudders and shakes for a second. And then everyone kind of stops. You realize it's come from above you, because the Brett's rugged crew are heading towards, I think, Ansel stuff, because I think you kind of started to wind them up. So they're off to Elson's. They hear this explosion and everyone kind of stops, looks up, and then they kind of do an about turn and start to go upstairs. I believe Moss was up at the older location where Anwin's stuff is.
Correct.
and you've obviously felt this explosion, and you can hear this sort of like tearing noise of metal on metal. Cochrane is kind of with the bad guys because he was following them, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much just.
And you can hear this creaking noise and splitting noise. Okay. Everyone starts to run up towards the top of the ship.
Guess I'll follow the Rhett's gang. I forget, who's the named person, the one with the flamethrower? Is that?
Nafta. Or Napta, I think. Napta Anderson. So yeah, she's sort of like leaning up and they all go rushing upwards. Caspian.
Yes.
There is a lot of noise in your ears. There's a lot of dust and smoke. And you can hear sort of the splitting noise of metal on metal.
That doesn't sound good.
What do you want to do?
I want to see if I got her. I want to see where she is.
So you're going to sort of like make your way forward.
Yes.
In the sort of like dust and dark, and yeah, you can hear the sort of like. You can also see in front of you, as you can see a little bit of brightness, and you notice that as you sort of like put your hand up, you can see there's small fires burning on all those old little, like sort of half sofa, half sort of love seat things. The kind of velvet is sort of like either melting or burning. You kind of make your way towards where they were standing. There is a massive scorch mark on the floor, and you can see that there's actually a hole in the floor on the deck of the boat. And also you can see above you, you can see sort of daylight coming through, and you can see sort of like the smokestack starting to sort of topple a little bit.
Oh, shit.
You look up and go, oh, shit.
Is there anybody in the...
You think maybe someone's kneecap, but it's just the kneecap. There's nothing else.
Lord.
Then there's a couple of fingers and you recognize a leg somewhere else. Yep.
Am I close enough to that hole to like look down?
Yeah, you kind of look down, it goes into darkness. There is a lot of, as well as sort of like the scorching from the grenade, there's also a lot of, they call it the chunky salsa effect, which is all over the floor.
What?
Chunky salsa effect. When grenades go off in enclosed rooms, they reverberate around the inside of the closed room and then increase the damage of said explosions.
Oh, so you're telling me that I didn't even need to push that roll to get more damage?
Well, you wouldn't have known that. Yeah,
bastard.
It's safe to say that Rhett and whoever else was there is well and truly dead.
My work here is done.
Then you hear a loud creak and a snap. You can hear the sound of rivets and stuff popping.
Oh, I'm running the hell out of this room.
You run and trying to get through the smoke, and you trip straight over. This is where you take your agility damage. You trip straight over one of the chairs and you crack your ankle where the chair is just at the wrong height, and you fall over and you presumably attempt to continue. If you'd like to make a move roll, that would be...
Now you're just being mean. Okay, so I am now only rolling 2 base dice because my agility is down to 2 and one skill die. Caspian failed.
Okay, then.
Caspian is dead.
Okay, well, that's the end of that then. That's fine. Yeah, you hear sort of like the sound of the creaking and the ripping, and you rush in the direction, and you realize that you've kind of got a little bit turned around, and you're not at the door, and then things start to panic. Moss.
Yes.
So you're at the back of the ship where the lawkeepers are, and you can still hear the sort of like ripping noise of metal on metal. What do you want to do?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure what that was, where that came from, but I have a good idea. And I think don't necessarily want to be found here if shit goes wrong, because after all, I was trying to get rid of Anwen's people anyway, and then, turned out weirdly. And much less do I want to, I don't know, get torn down by the ship collapsing. So I think my first instinct is to find a safer place, which presumably that's going to be an upper deck from where I could, I'll not be buried and could presumably easily leave the ship.
Okay. You make your way upwards, hoping to not be buried in whatever is coming down on top of you. What is a roach doing?
Well, I'm the other side of them, so I'm probably almost directly under where the explosion was. Yeah, I'll listen out to the creaking and banging, and if it seems to be coming downward, I think I will head for the front of the ship as quickly as possible.
Okay, all right, no problem. And Cochrane?
I'll just keep on following these guys wherever they're going, Napata, whatever.
You sort of like follow them as they head upwards. Okay. You come across, as you're sort of like making your way around, trying to feel your way out of the room, you come across some windows which are sort of like facing out over the north end of the ship. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a long way down. So you have to kind of make your way around. But you kind of get a bit of fresh air, there's smoke kind of billowing out of the windows. And you sort of make your way around to where the entrance would be. You can then hear a group of people come in and they're all shouting, Rhett, where are you? Rhett, what's happened? As people are sort of like flooding in. What do you want to do?
I would like to try to get out without them seeing me.
Well, that sounds like you need to do something vaguely sneaky.
I imagine, there's a lot of smoke and confusion.
I'm going to give you a +2 to your skill dice.
Is there any chance of me seeing him?
You can definitely try if you want to make a scout roll.
I have 1 success.
Okay, you happy with that?
Assuming that I only needed 1 success, yes.
Well, it's a resisted action with them. It's a general bunch of them.
I also have a biohazard symbol, so if you're asking me if I want to push it, the answer is no. Douglas also has 1 success.
Okay.
On his scout roll.
Oh,
but I'm not necessarily going to turn you in. It's if the other guys see you is the issue.
Right. Yes.
But that's the thing, right? So let's
just
see what they do.
letting our listeners know at home what's going on, or in the car, wherever they may be listening.
Plug
on the International Space Station. Who knows?
I mean, if you're listening on the space station, then you need to join our Patreon, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, you kind of make your way through. You can see them sort of flood in. Somehow they walk past you. But Cochrane, you can see Caspian. He's covered in soot and scorch marks around his eyebrows and.
Oh, he has no eyebrows.
Oh, lack of eyebrows. Yeah, he's just covered in dirt and there's bits of sort of meat hanging off of him.
Barbecue? Is it cooked meat?
Partially cooked, I think.
Can I attempt to distract everyone else by being like, look, what's that over there into the smoke? I think I see someone moving over there.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't require a roll. I mean, it's pretty straightforward that you're like, over there. They're like, you're where? And they kind of some of them move to that location and they start sort of
I'll just gesture to Caspian and be like, get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Yep, that's fine. Caspian sort of slips out.
Limping my way.
It's limping your way out. But they seem to sort of be really focused on looking for Rhett and the rest of the others that were in here. Then you can hear someone shout and scream. And then there's this murmur that goes through them all. And they all sound very angry. Roach, you've been kind of following them to a degree at the back. Yeah, you've now kind of got up and forward of the ship. And Moss, you've kind of come up directly above the lawkeepers area, and as you kind of make your way up, you kind of come out of the gangway and look out, and you come into the open air, and you can see the sort of faded red smokestack, which has sort of got barbed wire and a ladder up, kind of is starting to sort of topple. It probably wasn't in the best of nick in the first place, especially after the storm, and you can see that it's kind of almost bending over, and it looks like it's probably going to bend over fully and then crash down into the ship.
Just so I understand where the room that Rhett was in relation to the smokestack?
Right. So if
directly underneath it? Or
it's directly underneath it.
So all those people in there might be in danger?
Could well be, yes.
I hope so.
Thanks, Caspian.
Why, are you in there?
Yes, I saw you, remember?
Well, get out. Me. So what do you want to do?
So, yeah, help me understand this a bit better. When it collapses, is it going to take part of the ship down? Is it maybe going to make the thing structurally unsound, and is it going to sink?
No, because you're currently grounded into the sort of the bay, as it were. So
I'm sort of imagining it's still lying in water, and at least it's going to obviously make water into the living quarters or something.
Yeah. There is already water in sort of the lower part of the anyway. But yeah, if it falls, it'll break. Well, it will fall. It'll crash down onto the upper decks, and depending on the weight of the stack, it might go down through the decks, and anyone that's underneath the decks will probably get crushed.
Right. I mean, I don't care who's going to hear this. I don't care what kind of danger this is going to put me into. There's 182 people on this ship, and I don't want any of them to be crushed unawares. This sucks. And from my position now, on the upper deck, I just start yelling, "Evacuate! Evacuate! Smokestack coming down!"
Right then, you start shouting. Some people look up. I mean, there's a lot of people that have kind of come out to have a look at what the explosion and things was. So you very quickly grab their attention.
Do we have a thing like a siren or something for cases like this?
I don't know. Do you have a siren for something like this?
Probably it's something that's a normal sort of equipment on a ship this size, but it would be on the bridge. And I don't know if we ever used it for anything.
So it will be on the bridge, which means it's going to be right at the front of the ship.
I'm not sure I'd be aware of us having that thing, is what I'm saying. It's like, no, that's not where I work.
You've heard it before. It has happened before, but you aren't aware of where or how it is.
If somebody's in the know about emergency procedure, one of those 182 people, they might just know what to do right now. But I know to shout.
Well, I tell you what, you shout a load at people. Can you please make some kind of shouty roll? Let's call it. There's going to be something.
Manipulate, maybe?
Manipulate. Let's go with manipulate. Make a manipulation roll. And I'm looking for 2 successes, 3 if you want everyone to become unharmed.
God, I've only got 4 dice in this. This is impossible.
Let's get those pushing rolls ready. Well, you say that.
My goodness, look at me. That is 2 successes out of 4 dice.
Okay, well, did you want to push the other 2?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you shout and scream. A load of people start moving out of the way. Some people are like, "Oh my God," and they rush to, "I'm going to get my stuff," because that's what they do.
No time!
Run! And yeah, so people start rushing out of the way. You kind of like shouting and pushing and just getting people to move away from this area. Okay, Cochran, could you please make a scat roll, at least 2 dice, please?
Scat roll at least 2 dice. Okay.
Well, less 2 dice, sorry.
Less 2.
I want to see if you can hear.
So you remove 2 dice from the skill die. Yeah.
It's manually minus 2 dice.
I only have 1 skill, so I'll just have to remove from the base. I think that'll just accomplish the same amount thing anyway. Okay, so I will be rolling grand total of... Was it 3 dice you want to remove or just 2?
Just remove 2 dice.
That's fine. That's 4 dice.
Okay. Yeah, you can't hear anything. That's fine. Yeah, you kind of are sort of still with the rest of them.
Push that dice?
No, it's not like an active roll. It's it's just something passive that's happening. Roach, you can see the stack like twisting over on itself and starting to kind of in very slow motion hurtle down as it kind of almost splits in 2.
Right, do a quick assessment of whether I'm in danger from it.
You are probably not from where you are because you're probably somewhere around here on the map, about halfway along.
Right.
You reckon the stack is going to come down sort of like here.
Right, so second priority, I'll to see who is in danger, if I can see anybody.
Yeah, there are people sort of like running away from the stack. You can hear just in the distance, you think maybe Moss shouting, but you can't quite make out the noise from the rending and tearing from the smokestack. I mean, if you want to try and shout and get people out, you are more than welcome to.
Yeah, I'll try and help raise the alarm.
Sure. I mean, you can intimidate people out of the way. I mean, that's something you can do.
Go.
Make an intimidate roll. Why not? She basically starts threatening people to leave or else.
Do it quickly. I'm so shaken, it's not going very well, so I'll take a deep breath and I think I'll that. Oh no.
Go on then. Push your roll and got no successes this time. No, but you do take 1 to your empath or your strength, sorry.
Yeah, they're all more scared of the falling smokestack than they are of me. So.
And you get another mutation point, which is always good. I think it's already calculated that way. Yeah. So
do I get a mutation point for my
failure? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. With your failure, you get mutation points for your.
Do you get 1 for each point of damage you take, or no?
This is a good question. I can't remember. If someone's got a book, why don't you look it up so I don't just spend away just kind of going, oh my God, I can't remember the name. Yeah. Okay. You shout and sort of like try and grab people and push them out of the way, and yeah, it's all kind of like a bit chaotic. People are leaving, but you don't seem to be having much in the way of any any ability to sort of like control them in the right direction. Then you hear a horrendous, it sounds like a snap, like you would from sort of like a little, like a wooden stick or something, but it's on a magnified scale. And that smokestack snaps and lands on top of the deck. And it crushes down into the deck, and you think it's just going to go through the entirety of the ship. But it stops, it settles, and then it slides. As it slides down the side of the ship and then tumbles off the edge of the ship down into the water. And there's a large smash and there's rending. It pulls all the bits of metal that's kind of like attached to it. There was guidelines and stuff that were sort of on it. They go flying and they kind of like go all over the place. Can someone roll me a D6? Because, you know, this is a new session. So how many people are going to get killed by this?
Well, can I do it?
Absolutely. You murder the people.
You are responsible for their deaths, Marco.
That's cool. I rolled a 1.
Well, that no one dies because it's a 1 - 1 because of your food. Miraculously, no one gets hurt other than the ones you've already done yourself.
That's because my shouting, just having you
You're
there.
shouting, the whole thing. It just somehow it all goes perfectly right.
It's disappointing.
Sorry, Marco.
So I have an answer to the question. For every biohazard symbol you roll when you push, you get a mutant point.
Okay.
Which means I got 3 mutant points.
3.
Nice.
All right, cool.
So yeah, that's cool. Excellent. Well, everything goes deathly silent. And then there's a lot more shouting as the rugged crew kind of like make their way out, sort of like cuts and bruises. And some of them have sort of got lacerated arms or whatever. And everyone's kind of rushing in to sort of like help them. You all sort of like congregate to sort of like see what's going on. And you're all together. What do you want to do?
I'm going to turn to the group and say, wow, what'd I miss?
Why don't you tell us, Caspian, what we missed? Because you seem to come out of that hellhole.
I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You trying to get us killed?
I assume I'm as battered as Rhett's crew because I was in there as well.
Yeah.
So
You're
I'm
also
not
like
particularly happy.
You've managed to not get hurt, but you're sort of like, because you were just on the edges.
Loose lips, sink ships, Cochrane.
So is she, and I do the gesture across the throat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty positive.
Hey, that's good, right?
It's most excellent. But now we have a lot of angry gang members.
Well, I don't think anyone saw you apart from me leaving, so you might have got away with it. Don't know where the other half of the gang ended up, though, because they were off to go pick a fight with Elson's lot, I think.
Well, that's right. Maybe we should go back that way and see how he's doing.
I think we have delayed them enough, I think.
Yeah, it seems that the takeover has sort of stalled. And
you're welcome, Onwin.
They're all kind of like starting to sort of come together and find out what's going on. You can see that Elson kind of like comes up to see what's happened. He is speaking to Monja, who is one of the fixers, and sort of trying to figure out what's happened. Where is Rhett? What's going on? And sort of it takes probably about 15-20 minutes for the smoke literally to clear, and they kind of like go in. You can see sort of like the bosses and the underbosses are all kind of like making their way into their quarters, assessing the damage that's been caused. And clearly, they can see that an explosion has happened in here. And questions have started being asked. Does anyone want to offer anything, or are you happy to just stay back? And
I don't think there's anything that really ties us to anything because nobody saw anything. Like a bunch of Rhett's people got killed by like a cylinder, but nobody saw Moss do that.
Nope.
And I was just kind of standing around offering advice, and the only people who saw Caspian got turned into a mist seconds later.
It's like an episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
I think Roach just was being stealthy, so I think unless anyone's like, there's no reason to suspect us of anything to do with this.
Yeah, I think Roach will step forward to where all the leaders and that arguing over what's going on, just to overhear what their theories are and what's going on.
Yeah, so Elson is pretty much got their what's the word? They're specialists, I suppose. Looking at them, you can see Lambda is one of his crew. And Lambda kind of wears these old sort of blue coveralls with tools in all the pockets. Just there's loads of stuff everywhere. And he's kind of like looking at everything that's happened and can really sort of like hear like what's actually happening. And that sort of like he's kind of looking at everything, but he's sort of like spending a lot of time sort of examining exactly the area that's happened, that has happened in. He seems to sort of like be away with the fairies a little bit, kind of like he's in his own mind, and he kind of like stops and he says, right, well, let me tell you, an artifact has exploded in here. I saw it with my ability. I could see that Rhett died by a old artifact, an explosive device, and it was thrown by someone here. I just need to, I can see it. I can see who it was. I can see who it was. No,
Is he within arm's length of me?
he is not. No, they're kind of like slightly away from you. He's talking. He's probably maybe 5 or 6 arm lengths away, but there's also the other underbosses and the other.
As I'm nearly there, I'll interject in his talking and go, was it thrown or was it dropped?
He says, wait. No, I'm losing it. And he stops and says, it's gone.
And then I'll look across at NAFTA. Where were you lot going all armed up like that? What was going on here?
She looks at you and says, well, Rhett said that there was someone potentially causing a risk to the ship, and they were back with the lawkeepers. And so, of course, we went to go and stop them from doing whatever it is they were supposed to do. I was just following Rhett's orders. She didn't tell me exactly what the issue was.
So it might be that Rhett was preparing this artifact in case it was required and something went wrong.
Well, yes, she says, 100% that could be the case.
Tragic accident. And then I just step back.
Nicely played, Roach. Can I like inch my way forward so I can get to maybe within arm's length while this whole conversation is happening?
Yeah. Everyone's kind of like just, there's a whole lot of you. There's probably at least half of the people are here looking at everything. So there's a large sort of like gathering, looking up and discussing, and there's loads of people sitting around being sort of like treated for injuries. And it's not a problem. It's a little bit chaotic. So of course you can.
It's this person who said he had the power to see what had happened. Do I know him? Do I know what his power is?
Yeah, you do know him. He's never sort of like shown any sort of like physical powers that you've ever seen. You don't normally go, oh, what's your power? What do you do? But he doesn't have any mutations that are visible, at least.
Now, when you steal a mutation from another mutant, does that mean that they lose the power?
It does.
I think it's only for one turn.
It's only one turn, yeah.
Yeah. After that, the person gets it back. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm taking his power. I want to know how he's seeing things.
Okay,
but you know everything. You were there. I mean,
I'm speaking out of character.
Yeah.
So am I.
Okay, good.
Right. Well, I think you have to. Do you have to make a roll for it? I think you do.
I thought it just happens automatically.
I think the mutations. I'm not sure if you do have to roll.
Yeah, I think it just happens.
What was your mutation again?
Parasite.
Parasite. That's it. It costs you 1 mutation point. You can use the mutation in the next turn. After that, the victim gets it back. Let me, for Lambda, make a very brief roll to see if he realizes that he's having his mutation stolen. I kind of figure, if you're in the process of using your mutation and you take it, that's pretty straight obvious. But he's now lost the ability to do it, so he's going to just see if that's the case. Okay. So you take his mutation.
Okay, so you can't fail when using a mutation, but it's not without risk. So you roll 1 base die for each point you use to activate the mutation. Oh, if you roll 1 or more biohazard symbols, the mutation misfires.
Yeah. Excellent. Go on then. Roll your mutation point. I mean, you put as many mutation points in as you want. Guess the 1 is what you're going to use.
Okay, it's a D6, yeah.
So push roll and then just, so click on the roll button.
Yep.
Just put 1 base.
Oh, 1 base. There we go. Okay.
You just don't want any. You just once. Okay. That's fine.
No misfire.
So mutation goes and you take the mutation. Right. He has the mutation Mana Beast. Sorry, not Mana Beast. Man Beast. But it's a lower level. He can transform himself into a beast. You've never seen this. He does not have any ability to read minds or see into the future or do anything like that. So you get the ability, and then I'm guessing you're not going to use it because it doesn't do what you want it to do.
Hold on. Let's see.
So you can attack one of your enemies at arm's length with your fangs, which you grow and rip out of them. So it's not quite the same as this ability here. You can let out a bestial roar using your mana points to spend at near range. They will suffer a point of doubt. Or you can, when you're broken by damage or fatigue, you can get up again and recover trauma points equal to the mana points spent. So he's obviously been blagging big time.
And what gang is he with?
He is with Elson's gang.
And his name is what again?
Lambda. He's clearly trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, I think clearly, apart from he is correct in his suppositions.
Right.
He's quite loose. I mean, pretty much if you kind of had any deductive reasoning, you'd probably expect that there's been an explosion. Whether it's an artifact or he knows more, make a witch roll for me.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to make any kind of public announcement that he's a fraud, because why would I do that? He hasn't outed me. Make a witch roll, you said?
Make a witch roll.
2 biohazard symbols, no successes.
That's fine. Cochrane, can you also make a witch roll for me, please?
Wits, okay. That is my worst roll. So I've got 2 dice.
Go on then.
Oh, I actually succeeded.
Hooray.
1 success.
Okay, so you know that Lambda is a gearhead, and you know that he has poured over quite a few documents from the old world and the old age, and he has a lot of knowledge around the stuff that was from the time before. So it's quite well, it could be well within his reasoning, that he's, for you, obviously not only does he have the power to see, but he can understand what he was seeing.
He has that comprehension that I lack of things.
Indeed.
Yeah. But yeah. Then again, if we don't understand things, do we usually just blame it on artifact and leave it at that?
Kind of.
Like happens, we don't understand. It's like it's probably an artifact.
Probably. Yeah, that's pretty much what you probably do. Anything you want to do, Roach? Or you have to just let them do their thing?
I think I've planted the seed, and I think I'll just leave it.
And Moss?
I'm tempted to sort of, this was stressful. Like this foray into diplomacy that I'm very ill-suited for. It's like, that almost killed people. I feel bad about this. So I think once the literal smoke has cleared, I'm actually gonna approach Elson's gang and see if they can use me for some of the repair works. I feel I need to atone for something here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, prior to that, it then becomes very obvious that Anwin is not around.
Yeah, I wanted her gone. That's fine.
There's a lot of conversation around, is this something that Anwin did? Maybe Anwin is the one behind whatever's happened. Because it's interesting that she left just prior to it all happening. And in fact,
that's very suspicious.
She stole one of the ships, and she was last seen heading north towards the island.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Anwin was looking after the Elder, wasn't she?
Yes.
They could take the Elder away with them, could they? Because Moss hadn't built her little thing. So I'm going to, if that's the case, is that correct in my logic?
That is correct.
I'm going to nip off and be like, this is an opportunity for me to actually go talk to an Elder. So I don't get to do that very often.
Be the new law keepers. This is our Elder now.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not going to get an opportunity to speak to an Elder.
Okay.
Even if it is an Elder, it's dying.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. You're going to nip off to go and see the Elder. That's fine. You going to tell anyone that, or are you just going to wander off?
I can't express. Has any of my other sort of like co-conspirators ever expressed any particular interest in the Elders and that sort of thing?
I don't know.
I'm just asking the other players.
Not really, no.
Caspian believes that the knowledge of the Elders is important.
Yeah. Boss, no?
No, sorry.
Oh, well.
Okay. Just you.
If Caspian has expressed interest in talking to the Elder before, I will grab him and be like, explain this is a good shot, Want to go see the Elder?
Does the sun come up in the morning?
Yeah. Plus, maybe it's better if we don't stick around here.
Okay, you two wander off to see the elder. Moss and a roach. Are you going to particularly stay here, do anything? Is there anything other than... So Moss, I know you want to speak to Elson and try and get some work, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll hang around with Moss and basically do any of the fetching and carrying and lifting that's needed.
So you kind of help out with the repairs, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's perfectly reasonable. People are very happy that you're helping, and I'm going to be particularly generous and say, why don't I give you an extra XP for helping out your fellow man? Or your fellow people, mutants. Mark, Douglas, Cochrane, and Caspian makes their way to the Elder's Den, which is towards the front of the ship and top of the ship. You make your way there, and you can see there is one person at the front of the Elder's quarters, as it were, and everyone takes turns sort of like being security, I guess, for the Elders is the best way to describe it. And this is actually one of Anwin's followers. It is Astrina. She is standing outside, and she's got this sort of like bright red mohawk, and she says, I saw what happened. That's terrible. Is everyone okay?
Not sure at the moment. There's a lot of damage and a lot of very upset people.
No.
Owen and that, they've all left the boat. Are you aware of that?
Yes, one of them came to tell me that
you're the only one left really on the boat, but you should probably get down to there because there's a lot of accusations flying at Anwin right now, and nobody. I think you might agree, Caspian. They're all kind of gunning and pinning it on you guys.
Well, I can't.
We'll watch
it.
Yeah.
Like I'm friends with, you know me. I know Victor.
Look, these guys, they think that Anwin left just as this explosion happened that might have knocked out Rhett. I mean, they know she went to the island. They're gunning for her. Yeah. You got to go.
Okay.
You got to go down there and
I'm going to do that.
Smooth things over. Let them know she left long before. She had nothing to do with it.
Of course, we know you guys had nothing to do with it, but there's no one there to say otherwise.
Suppose I can just pop down there. Okay. Don't let anyone in. You know the rule?
Yeah, well, yeah, we know the rules. Yeah.
She basically locks the cabin doors and puts the key around her neck, down her top, and she wanders off out towards the...
What happens if, the Elder needs something? The Elder's very sick. We need to go in.
She'll be okay. She'll be okay. Don't worry.
Let's wait till she's disappeared down this there.
Yeah, she wanders down the stairs and then heads off towards the back of the boat.
Is there a window we can break?
Yeah, there's a couple of windows. They're all shuttered and from the inside, so you've got glass on the outside, or what's left of glass on the outside.
Cochrane, are you any good at picking locks?
I don't think so, because that would have to be Gearhead, I would imagine, Ed. Would it be picking a lock?
Yeah, I mean...
Or any sort of comprehension of lock.
Yeah, any kind of comprehension of locks would be helpful.
No, I know nothing about locks apart from you put a key in them and they lock.
Is there a window in this door?
No, there's no window in the door.
Okay, it looks like we're breaking through the other window then.
How sturdy a door is this?
I mean, it's of average sturdiness.
I imagine it's made out of metal.
It's made of probably a little bit of metal and some sort of that plasticky material that they have.
Is there anything lying around that I could use to smash the window?
Yeah, you could probably grab something. There's a lot of scrap kicking around.
We'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, you smash the window. It's not pretty, it's not subtle, but it does the job. Okay.
Come on, Cochrane, this way. And then I just crawl through.
Right. You smash the window, you crawl into the window. It's a series of rooms. They would have been quite large rooms for a ship up here back in the old days. And there's a lot of tubing. There's a large bed in the room. There's the Elder laying out in the room. She seems to be hooked up to a bunch of machines, and there's a machine in the corner that kind of is going up and down. And as the machine's going up and down, her chest is going up and down. She seems to be asleep.
I go to the side of her bed, tap her shoulder. Elder.
Doesn't seem to move.
Cochrane, what do you think is wrong with her?
Can I have a quick glance over to see if I can figure out anything?
Sure. Why don't you make a...
That'd be heal.
If you got heal.
I've got heal. Yeah.
Make a heal roll.
That's 2 successes, I believe.
Yeah, she's dead.
Can I double check before I tell Caspian?
You could double check. Yeah, you absolutely double check. It appears that the machine is helping inflate and deflate her lungs, which is also making her twitch a little, but she has no pulse. And when you kind of like double check and you sort of like move her arms and stuff, yeah, she's dead. She's probably been dead for about 3 or 4 days. And
is she like stone cold to the touch, basically?
She is. Yeah.
I'm like, Caspian, like, feel her. She's cold. She's still dead.
When you move these sort of like packs, you can see that, when you move the blankets, you can see there's like these little refrigeration packs that are underneath her to keep her coolish,
fresh.
It appears that the lawkeepers have been lying to you. It appears that the elder has died.
Cochrane, we need another grenade.
Where are we getting? Why?
At that point, you hear someone banging on the door, and then you can hear a large group of people kicking on the doors. You can see some people turn at the window that you smashed. I thought I heard someone break in, and you can see a bunch of people just staring at you. And they look over and go, "What are you doing to the elder?" And then behind them, you can hear the Astrina who left you here saying, "Wait, I've got the key. They weren't supposed to go in." And you see a lot of angry faces. What do you want to say?
What did Anwen do to the elder before she killed Rhett and fled? Because the elder is dead.
The elder's dead? What do you mean the elder's dead? Yeah, people start saying
her. She's stone cold.
She has no pulse. The elder is dead.
What? What do you mean the elder's dead?
What language am I speaking? The elder is dead.
Moss, you and a Roach have kind of like seen them all kind of go up to the elder's sort of area. Someone said, "Oh, I think I heard someone smashing a window," and they've kind of like moved across. And there's obviously this large group of people that have kind of made their way across from the damaged end of the ship to the front of the ship. And you've kind of like moved along with them, and you can hear sort of like some shouting and stuff. As you get closer, you can hear Caspian and Cochrane inside the elder's quarters.
The repairing can, wait a little bit. This sounds exciting. I absolutely want to go check it out.
You can hear a couple of people sort of saying, what's that? The elder's dead. Did they kill the elder? No, they said Anwen killed the elder. Did they? No. Oh my God. And then a couple of the people look at Astrina and goes, "You killed the elder." She's like, no. And a couple of them like grab her. You see a couple of mutations flare up. I guess we'll leave it there for this session.
Our society is collapsing.
This is why we should stay away from the boat, because when we spend time here, it all goes to shit.
Apparently it's all going to shit.
I guess that would be Caspian's fault. I'm sorry.
Well, you've got to crack a few rets to kind of make an omelette or something. It's an old saying. No one knows what it means. But yeah, we'll leave it there for this session.
Whoever said loose lips sinks ships didn't have a grenade.
No, that really sinks ships. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone.